Hello everyone, welcome to the stream. Nice to have you here. We have today a watch party of The Rings of Power Season 2 Episode 6. That means, as always, of course I can't restream the show. That would get me my channel banned. As a result, you have to find your own means to watch the episode and basically find a way to watch this stream and the episode at the same time. I show you the time code, which is currently running, to skip the intro and stuff. And with this you can synchronize and so on. And that is basically how it works. And then we just talk over the episode. I hope you have already seen it, so maybe that's a bit better. So welcome everyone in chat. Silmarillion is here. Woody Black is here. Xelion is here. Nice to see you all here. Potentially more people. I haven't seen JP. This show is unwatchable without group support. Yeah, maybe. Sometimes it is, yes. Unfortunately, it is sometimes unwatchable. Almost. But yeah, we have to get to 3 minutes and 18 seconds, so this is the time we have to kind of skip. I started the timer in the break, then forgot about the timer, and then it was past 3 minutes 18, so I have to start it again. Well, Mark, welcome, nice to see you. I hope you are prepared. There's Azu, also on Twitch. No, it won't be a 9-hour stream. That was yesterday, and today we just watch the episode, talk a bit about it, complain a bit, the classic thing, and then call it a day. Maybe, I think even about maybe after, depending on how early we are done here, about streaming some Elden Ring afterwards, who knows. So there are definitely, the options are there, I think is what you would call it. I hope you had a good day so far, chat. And yeah, have to look out for the clock. I have to also maybe find a better place for it. Where would be a good place for the timer, chat? Up there it looks a bit lonely. Yeah, maybe something like this. Oh, Rosemary's here. Missed all the fun yesterday. Unfortunately, also Priscilla TV is here. Welcome, nice to see you. And oh no, we missed the clock. Where is my thing? We have to stop the timer. Well, we're a bit over it, but it doesn't matter. We synchronize with it anyway. I have a theory I must share with you guys about not Gandalf, but let's watch. But later, let's watch. Okay. I'm very curious about your theory. I also have tons of theories. Yeah, good day on the sofa. Nice. There's a zoom. Yeah, it's nice to hear that people are looking forward here to the stuff and have theories. I also have some theories. So we start in a moment, I would suggest, so we don't have to do it. The question, chat. There's one question we have to answer, which I forgot every time. Also, shoutouts to YouTube for moving the heart button next to the chat here on my window, because that was annoying as hell. Now they moved it. And it's pretty awesome, so we can reactivate the heart button again. Awesome. Not sure why they didn't do this in the first place, to be honest, but at least they fixed it, and this I appreciate a lot. Now the chat line is a bit small, to be fair. That's good. And what are we going to do if you people have what's it called, an ad break? We could just be rücksichtsvoll, whatever that is. Considerate, thoughtful, regardful, something like that, and stop the stream when somebody has an ad break, because not everybody. I mean, it's a paid service. We still get ads. It's just the most nonsensical thing I've ever heard in my life. But here we are. Lots of hearts. Yeah, pretty awesome. Awesome. Thank you. So if somebody has an ad break, I would suggest, okay, we make a poll simply. That's the easiest way. Pause the timer and episode when somebody has an ad break, ? Yes, no, I don't care. Which is basically yes. Yeah, that's true. I mean, to be fair, you at least get something Batman decent. We can add for Batman every time. Yeah, see you later, Derazu. Nice that you showed up here. Not getting it. I have an interesting thing. I watch over my browser window and ad block. Like, I have an ad blocker that actually blocks the Amazon ads, which is actually pretty good. To be fair, though, I know that ads are important, especially as a content creator who does stuff on YouTube, and I like my ad money. So there's that. The other side, I know it's annoying. Wink, wink. Welcome, Amber. I know it's annoying. Simply, if you see if you have like, usually my ad policy on my channel is pretty okay. I would say there are some exceptions, which has to do with YouTube automatically setting ad breaks. For example, to stream VODs. For example, when I don't set YouTube, I have to set it manually. Else YouTube just places 500 million ads. It's like you have no idea how many ads I have to click away here. Okay, I have even to go for my super fast click here. Like usually I say, I don't know, if a video is longer than half an hour or so, I would place an ad somewhere. Usually at the 20-minute mark. So we do this. Else, I think these VOD streams are also unwatchable. And I always forget to create them afterwards. And then maybe, I don't know, every hour or so, I think that's just fair to make an ad break. If you have a 9-hour stream, something like this, there can be some ad breaks in between, but it must be reasonable and not nonsensical like the automatic function of YouTube does it. That's for sure. And usually in my videos, I always manually place ads. And like I said, when they are shorter than 30 minutes, 20-30 minutes, then I place an ad in the middle, otherwise only at the beginning and at the end. So let me just edit here the ad break for the other thing. Nice to see you. It's very nice. I get a lot of ads yesterday analysis, but no worry. Yeah, there were a lot of ads. I just saw it. There were 1 billion ads in the yesterday's analysis. I didn't place them. They were placed manually by you, automatically by you. I just edited it. So for people watching the episode 6 analysis, I just kicked out a lot of the ads. I have not checked where the ads will play, so it might be in the middle of a sentence, but there should only be like 9 ad breaks or something, like every hour one or something. That's, in my opinion, a reasonable amount of ad breaks. Not as it was before, every freaking 5 minutes. I don't know why. Sometimes it works when I press the manual ad button and sometimes it doesn't. I don't get it. Chris survived. Yeah, I survived. Hey Chris, every time you say question mark when you write a question, what I hear is question mark, and I'm tempted to answer no, Chris. I have no question. Sorry. Okay, chat. I would say we have enough trolling. In the near future, there will be ads if you pause a video. I mean, there's a lot of problems with ads on YouTube for sure. I mean, it's not a topic here of our stream, but the problem is in parts, not always, but in parts also the content creators are at fault, because they also, like every content creator who uploads a video that is not claimed by YouTube, which is for most semi and professional content creators the case. Because you never, like if you make money with YouTube, you never want that your video is claimed. So that's something you try to prevent. In these cases, every channel, every person behind the channel can manually set how many ad breaks there should be in the video. So if you get a lot of ads in a video, it's on the content creator, not necessarily on YouTube. But the funny thing is, the content creators blame YouTube or just leave this uncommented, and everybody blames just YouTube for it. Okay, 50% said yes, 33% said I don't care. So I would say that also counts towards yes. No said 16%. Okay, so sorry for the 16%, but then we'll just talk very briefly over the ad break. I guess that's not bad. I usually think in a watch party most people have seen the episode anyway, because we will talk about this. But yeah, it's kind of how it works. Like people blame YouTube, but in truth it's the fault of the content creator. To be fair, there's also YouTube to blame a bit, because back in my day when I was a young YouTube creator, it was that there was only like the pre-roll when you start a video ad break comes. There was only one ad that was 30 seconds at most. No, not at most. There were exceptions to this as well, but you only have to watch 30 seconds a video for it to count for the content creator to generate money. But whatever. It was just one. Then they doubled this. And to be fair, from my perspective, the YouTube ad revenue got much better since they did this, to be fair. But yeah, it's annoying as hell. I get this. That's why I have one at the beginning, one at the end, and if it's longer than 20-30 minutes, so which is a long video in my opinion, I place maybe one in the middle somewhere. Usually even with videos that are 40 minutes or an hour long or longer. And yeah, in the stream things I try to set at every like one ad break an hour or something. That I think is, in my opinion, a reasonable amount. So that's my ad policy. Let's start with the watch party chat, because we are getting distracted again, and that's not good. Because when we're distracted, we can't watch the episode. When we can't watch the episode, the stream will go 9 hours. And then I will be very tired tomorrow. As it was the case today. Gandalfriel. Galdafriel, also not bad. Whatever, chat. Let's start the watch party. Are you ready, chat? Everybody ready to press on play? Then I will give you a countdown from 3. I click on play, on go. Rosemary's ready. Awesome. Okay, people are ready. So 3, 2, 1, let's go. So currently seeing the Rings of Power Schriftzug. Speaking of go, I stopped the timer for a moment to catch up, because we have 3:44. It's not synced as a result. Maybe I should have said this. Okay, starting the timer. Now we see Arondir in the forest. So it should be roundabout synchronized now. Dramatic music. This is basically, I assume, to tell us that Arondir still chases the orcs and the orcs have deserters. I didn't get this with the deserter stuff, to be honest. We tried to look, but I couldn't read it really well. Unfortunately. We looked into where this could be. It seems like it's Eregion. But I couldn't read what is on the map written. It was very tough to read. I know how bad I am at reading the handwritten stuff. Oh, yeah, the map, the deserter map. The question is, why is it so important that he finds this map? But it now does a transition fades to Eregion, so I assume it means Eregion. He tried a lot. Mr. Red is also there. Yeah, I think the battle plan, I would also assume this. In German, übellaunig. I like the translation. Janya sus, yeah, she suspects something. Is this guy now losing his mind or something? We worked together for weeks. Mirdania. It was not there a moment ago, by the way. I think I tried to look into this time. We haven't looked into this in the analysis. Yes, Great Griever, we can see you. Revolverator, nice to see you. Yeah, nice that you could make it. We currently see Anatar talking to Celebrimbor. No, not these people. I hate people. Thinks Celebrimbor. Okay, see you later, Desazu. Yeah, that is true. Unfortunately, Desazu. I like the romantic scene being an illusion, yeah. And here we see that is a shot I meant yesterday. Wasn't there a shot where we could see the Silmarillion in the hand of Fëanor a bit better? Yeah, strange. Nobody's coming to the city anymore. Well, here on it, I think it's written wrong. It's Quenya. It says Manas Inir, but it should be Manas Iner, which means what or who is the man. It's strange that the elves can't read it because it's written in Quenya and in Kirth, which is an elvish alphabet. I'm not sure if it's more antiquated, maybe a bit. I'm not sure. I'm watching in German right now. Yeah, he knows her name. Maybe that would be bad with elven grammar or something. Maybe I'm also seeing this wrong. Strange, rush out to the city for days, yeah. Yeah, if you cut letters into a body, you can't unmake this. Why does she... I could not read who is he out of it. I could only read who is the man at most. Maybe more what or who, but not where is the man. Very strange. Also, the elves can't see the smoke in the distance, which I find very weird. Now coming to the next weird scene. It was so also in episode 6 that the talk between Galadriel and Adar was in episode 6, season 1. Now we have another one, and this time it's bad, unfortunately. More dramatic music. A lot of Dutch angles. I kind of like that, to be honest. It gives unrest to the image. They did use this in the last scene as well. Also, there was an orc outside at the door, where the light was just, somebody walked past the light. Unfortunately, we learn nothing new in this scene. I don't fully get it as well, Sauron's plan. I don't get any of these plans here, to be honest. And we discussed this long yesterday in the analysis. I mean, if Sauron's plan is to rule over Middle-earth, he needs to get rid of the elves, either to control them, but it seems not to be his full plan to control the elves, so he needs to destroy the elves, and he does this using Adar. Yeah, maybe this helps him also to potentially take over the orcs and kill our friend here. Yeah, Morgoth's crown lore-wise makes no sense. It was beat into a color. The Valar must have gotten a hand on this crown because the Silmarilli were in it. I like that the writers basically say, yeah, we know it's different that Tolkien wrote, but we don't care. In this world, it's not true. Okay. But it's it's not logical. How did he get his hands on it? Because we know the Silmarilli, the Valar got back from Morgoth. So they must have gotten the crown. And then they put it on eBay and he got it from there or something. I don't know. Also, they missed the opportunity to write on the box Amazon. That would be very funny, in my opinion, with where the crown is in. This scene is so stupidly written. I like they have a good, like, I like the chemistry. It's not the actors, it's just the writing. I also think the crown will be later used by Sauron to make the One Ring. Morgoth's famous pointy head. As if Galadriel's hands weren't small enough to slip through this handcuff. Interestingly, I like the Numenor section in this episode a bit more. Okay. Den Tod verdient er nicht. Kann sein. The subtitles are funny. Balzagar, kind of like the actor of him. He's a perfect fit for Balzagar. Yeah, it definitely got more interesting. I also like the actor struggling. Also like how Earien smiles the F. He gets a second chance, yeah, kind of. Look, I like how he points at Farazon. You are the traitor. That's a good point here. And Adam thinks, oh no, here we go again. Ja, richtig gute, very good idea. Let's call the sea monster and let people and see if he gets eaten. That's a good idea. Noch nie, Nori. Funny. The German translation of this is funny. In English, it's snoring. Schnarchen in German, but it would not rhyme to Nori, so I had to come up with something else. Fun that Numenorean lore books are so heavily illustrated, yeah. It's a reference to the Tolkien estate who brings, and HarperCollins and so on, who just brings the same books over and over out with different illustrations year after year. And of course we Tolkien fans buy all of them. Okay, that's an ad break here, I think. Does somebody have an ad break? I think here would be the first ad break. You have to write in chat if you have an ad break, otherwise don't press the pause button. Okay, so we stop really quick. Somebody said yes. That's just for clarity. We have to write at or something in chat, so I know. Stop. AD. It's not for Batman this time. Awesome. But yeah, very interesting plot part. Now we come to the Harfoots, which is also interesting. Unfortunately, nothing happens in the Harfoots plot. That's what I criticized heavily yesterday in my little first impressions video. Simply because there's simply nothing happening here. Like, we still don't know who the stranger is. We still don't know. He still can't control his powers. We still don't know what's going on with the Dark with it. Like, nothing happened in this episode. We just know the tree. I have a good theory about the tree. And there's also Priscilla who said she has a really good theory. I want to hear it. It's for watching football, which I'm exactly as unlikely to watch as Batman. So, yeah, I don't know. The Numenorean plot was interesting this time. I liked this how the actor portrayed this inner struggle there in this scene. I think he carried that scene hard, in my opinion. That is now over, by the way. Okay, so I hope everybody is back and ready. Like I said, next time just write add into the thing, so I know we have to pause really quick. And I would say I count down from 3 again, chat. 3, 2, 1, let's go. So now the Gund is talking to Nori. Smial is now a term used here. I think the Harfoots actually are the first who started creating these burrows where they lived in. This tree, by the way, I assume this is where Gandalf gets his staff from. I think that's the one. That's my theory. Smile. Definitely possible to pronounce it like this. But I think considering that it's at some point Old English. Yeah, I think they create poisoned arrows for these blowpipes. Poor snake. This disgusting idiot. Wow, Rosemary. Never engage in hanky. Venomous snake. Safety first. Impressive. These are hobbits in the desert. We're not in ancient Japan. It's not ancient, it's medieval, whatever. Okay. Now the Tom Bombadil scene, we soon through it again. The calm and soft tone of the Harfoot scenes. I like the colors and the area. I kind of like. This looks a bit fake, to be honest. This shot here. Know what I mean? It doesn't look real. Valley of the Magic Sticks. Yeah, this I didn't like that he used a Gandalf quote here. Yeah, Tom is testing his character. Clearly, like, he said to him, you have to become a servant of the secret fire. Which is another Gandalf quote. Like, referencing it, basically. And we learned that the secret fire sometimes shows visions. So the secret fire shows him, hey, these hobbits you're talking about, they're in danger. Maybe go help them, you idiot. And now Tom Bombadil is testing him if he understands what the secret fire wants from him. That's where he should go. Yeah, Khazad-dûm seems pretty awesome. Also, yeah, the king makes bank here. I think you say in English. Yeah, put this to the other 16 golden vases or whatever that is called. I think the episode was too busy. There were too many different story arcs. As a result, the story arcs didn't move on. I like the places, but I don't like that there's no focus in this episode. Nothing really happens everywhere. Also, he was not standing there a moment ago. The pile of gold will be much larger next time when we see it, yeah. Old colleague of Sauron here in the fire. Maybe a bit. And he knows that some other problems are waiting the dwarves. Are you crazy? Boy. Yeah, it was definitely a bit over the top. Because the dwarves could actually, they often gave these rings the next generation. They also kept it secret and never hold it openly. Very exaggerated. But to be fair, you could make an argument that the dwarves needed to learn about the negative properties of the ring, and maybe that's why they later kept it secret. Although the king and the prince was already having their bouts about them. That's the continuation of it. Yeah, it for sure is. Like, even here, technically not much happens in Khazad-dûm either. We now learn they get more mithril, maybe make weapons and armor out of it to maybe sell, or to create troops themselves and equip them with the stuff. Or they want to create weapons and stuff for the elves. Hard to tell. Yeah, the actress is very talented. The sound. Trial of the Abyss. The sea worm. The light at the end of the cave. I like sometimes the sayings and so on the dwarves use are kind of cool. Lauterkeit verwerfen. That's an interesting phrase. It's interesting that Eärien simply does not understand her father. I wonder how the relationship between Elendil and his daughter will go forward after his episode. And imagine when Isildur comes back. Oh, crazy sword, Anarion shows up. Yeah, very interesting how this might play out. It's so interesting that Eärien simply cannot understand her father. She does not understand that being faithful is part of himself. His children are too old, light-blinded fool. There's not much parenting can fix. Then it's that Stark moment. Wondering, maybe that's the torch that flickers above Earien. Last time I wondered, what is flickering above her head? What is this light? That's a torch. It makes sense. I think this is like a ram or something. Also, the animal that the head of this ram portrays is a ram itself. So I guess there's that. I think that here they go where maybe also Elrond and Prince Durin in season 1 also were. Also, the lamps are pretty cool. They already talked about that the vision changed when in the Palantir. They had already a talk earlier about this. Miriel and Elendil. I am Batman. Batgirl. You didn't understand this scene with the bats? Well, they try to block the entrance, and she can summon bats. Is there a new ad? Not the beard. Yeah, maybe. But next time they have more bats or do something else. I think there will be more scenes in the next episodes. They don't have the time to really tell the story there. No ad here. Okay, nobody writes an ad, so we continue. It's very nice of them to take off the handcuffs so he can maybe swim back if he survives. The ancient law sound was written by Melkor. Now, that's a kind of a power move because for Pharazôn, if Miriel dies, he's the undisputed king because the Valar said, yeah, she's gone. The Valar are on his side as well, so that would definitely help. But if Miriel does not die, that's definitely a problem for Pharazôn, I think, and that makes this Numenor plotline suddenly more interesting. So I think this plot development here is very interesting for the Numenor plotline now. It might now turn back to where it was, with Medial and Pharazôn kind of finding power, and this might also lead to maybe Pharazôn at some point forcing Medial to marry him or something. Yeah, he's distant. Not even distant. Like, if Pharazôn and Medial would both die, I think Elendil would be the next ruler of Numenor. Considering that there are no children and so on. I mean, Kemen and so on, but they don't exist in the books, like from a book's perspective. Going through water is a Celtic way of accessing the underworld. It's an interesting point, I think. No, not really. In this story here, not really at all. Silmarillion lived Second Age 521. She was born. Elendil is born 2000 years later or something. Let me just double check. 2100 years later, Elendil is born, so they are very distantly related. I'm not sure if there's a mixture between the main line. And now the ruins. Okay, all hail Miriel. And this now makes put Pharazôn into trouble, and that is why he needs to know the future. And in the vision, Pharazôn sees something interesting. And that is my theory for Pharazôn. He sees Halbrand, and I think what he thinks is he has to find Halbrand now. So he will push or try to push Numenor back to Middle-earth to become more active and then secret search for Halbrand there. And this is how at some point when he finds Anatar, Halbrand, whoever he will pretend to be, Sauron, and this is how he brings him to Numenor next season. Or maybe this season, I'm not sure. It would be pretty rushed for this season. Courage and surviving, yeah. The creature shouting at her like, yo, I was looking forward to eating that man. Why does he tell him everything? Like, this is just stupid writing. Yeah, it could be that they intermarried. possible, but in case they did not, then they would be not that closely related. Also, welcome Schnark, nice to see you. Haven't seen you appear here. Yeah, she did tell him everything. She did tell the 3 rings are true. No idea how he knows. How does Adar know about the 3 rings, though? Who did tell him? He confirmed this. Galadriel confirmed this. She also told him about Nenya, and she told him that Elrond has Nenya now, which is the reason I assume in the siege Elrond is taken prisoner. There's a vision of, I think, Galadriel or Gilgal. I think it's Galadriel's vision. She sees that Elrond is taken prisoner in the thing. In the Battle of Eregion or something like this. And I think the reason for that is because they think he has a ring. True serum, maybe. She also told him that Elrond will come to Eregion to defend. So she also knows that. And the only reason why Adar needs Galadriel as a prisoner is to get a ring, maybe as a ransom. Says, I give you Galadriel back, then give me her ring or something. And I need this for the crown to kill Sauron. I also thought Galadriel wanted to get actually imprisoned here, but it doesn't seem at all. Like, she questions too many things. Well, this could be all Sauron's design. What? Yeah, sure. Joseph Malsadar. Somebody wrote that Joseph Malsadar was more drunk. But I think he's close enough, I feel. Would it be smart? Why? Galadriel would never attack Eregion anyway. Like, she's an elf. Makes no sense. For what would he need Galadriel? Oh, there are orcs outside of Eregion. I didn't know that. Like, this is also something I hate of the writing here in this episode. Like, they turn off the common sense and the ability to see. Like, we're talking about elves. These are high elves, Noldor elves. We see Arondir killing easily 1v3, like 5 orcs or 3 orcs in the previous scene. And here the elves seem so incredibly human, stupid, and incapable of anything. It's just sad. My theory why he cut his hand to use some magic, because when the other dude, what is his name called, the Dark Wizard, had this acolyte also cut her hand, and then he wielded some magic to bring Feminem back, the female acolyte from the first season. So I assume cutting the hand is kind of in this adaptation some way of using some powerful dark sorcery, potentially related to Morgoth. I'm not even sure if it's power. I think it's just the writers doing that. Like the elves here in Eregion never really felt smart or powerful in any shape or form. And they also, yeah, the Dark Wizard on the Acolytes also talked about Sauron and finding him and so on, so they might be related. So I assume they use a similar kind of power or so. There's the Mithril and the hammer already with him. And yeah, there's like in the Silmarillion, there's a story of Gorlim. And there Sauron also created some kind of illusion. Maybe a bit less sophisticated than this here, but at least there is, in theory, an idea of him creating illusions. So cute to see elf children. Yeah. But yeah, maybe because it looks so bright and peaceful and so on. It feels like something is wrong here in this scene. But where did he get this Mithril from? This I did not understand. I was thinking that if he had Galadriel on his side, maybe he wouldn't need to attack Eregion to get to Anatar, but he could just knock. Maybe he could. The problem is the following. These are orcs. Elves will never cooperate in any shape or form with orcs, or believe them, or whatever. I'm not sure if he just says this. Maybe it's a lie too. Maybe the Mithril isn't even real. Or maybe he just took some other Mithril and basically hid it for the time being, for the right time. And now is the right time for him to motivate him to make these rings. It seems very unrealistic though, I just want to point this out. Like, it seems like he had no Mithril to this point. That was a problem for Celebrimbor. And now the siege of Eregion is already started. He has now like an afternoon or whatever, or a day, to create 9 rings of power. In German we say, das sportlich. That's, you know, it's not much time, even for like a powerful art craftsman like Celebrimbor. I just find it very implausible and unrealistic in a strange way. Why not give him more time to do this? Durin said Sauron will come back. He did. But they show the scene later. Or maybe never. Who knows? But it's a good theory. Maybe he went back. Maybe used his powers to convince Narvi to give him some Mithril. This was an amazing shot. How long were sieges in medieval times? The problem is with the siege, the fireballs could hit the tower where Celebrimbor is smithing. You know what I mean? And also, hard to tell if Sauron can hide the attacks of on Eregion this well. Maybe they also explain this by some magic power of Sauron, but it seems very strange to me, I have to admit. And we know the show. They can move 1,000 miles with an army and siege machines in an instant. I don't think they will take a week to destroy the city. Maybe there was never a lack. Maybe Sauron always hid this stuff. But why would he then go to Durin? He can go to Durin whenever he wants, I think, without having a reason for that. And that is the end of the episode with 58 minutes 25. That was a good episode. I appreciate, or I like that you liked the episode. I personally did not like it much. It had really strong moments, to be fair. The episode. Like, this time, for example, the Numenor stuff shined a bit. I always like Anatar, Celebrimbor, Khazad-dûm. This stuff is always pretty good. But I feel like this episode, for my taste, was too busy. And at the same time, did nothing. And that was kind of what I disliked about this episode a bit. I also thought the writing was absolutely terrible at times. Like, we discussed this for 9 hours yesterday. Some of the writing is just so absolutely nonsensical in this show. It's mind-boggling. Next one might be very interesting, though. Like, now they have 2 episodes left. They wasted time again this time. At the lowest lows? Yeah, maybe. Like I said, the Numenorian part here, usually I'm also not too keen on the Numenorian stuff, to be honest. But this episode here was definitely an interesting development. So I can see, okay, something develops out of this. How the balance of power in Numenor will change a little bit now. Maybe help the faithful a bit. And so on. But yeah, for me, one of the weakest episodes so far, still. Simply because, like, in all the stuff that is happening in this episode, nothing really happens. Like, this episode feels like stagnation for me in the plot lines. Not like every plot line moves on a step or two, and that's it. And there are just too many of those. The whims of great beasts dominate the politics of Numenor, and I love it. Yeah, that's kind of funny, to be honest. Oh, there's an eagle. Farazon, Farazon. Oh, there's a sea monster not eating medial. Next week it's a flying elephant, and then it's Kemen, whatever. Who knows? Yeah, I also hope they get rid of the mystery box at some point. The question is Priscilla TV still here? Theory time. Yeah, exactly. I'm so curious. You said you have a theory. Maybe in the meantime I can tell my theory. So I think the stranger is Gandalf. I think the dark wizard is a blue wizard. And the bait is, but you can just in the meantime type your stuff. We might discuss it. The blue wizard. I think that the dark wizard looks like Saruman is what's it called? Prometheor, the stranger, arrived. No memory out of the west. Yes. And Saruman... Yeah, Saruman is bait, basically. That's my theory. And he's a blue with it. The balance of power. Remember how Gandalf the Grey turned into Gandalf the White? That's an interesting theory. So it thinks that the stranger gets kind of killed and then is sent back by Eru yet again and becomes Olorin. And then 2000 years later, when it happens again, like in the Third Age, not 4,000 years later, he dies again against the Balrog and says, "Oh God, not again." David als Tarnished. He will be born as a Tarnished. You thought Bale is Schnarke. Just your comment is very old, but since I didn't want not to interrupt the watch party here, do you think pre-nerf Redan is more difficult than Bale, or is it a completely different topic for the rest of the chat? Or post-nerf Redan? Just asking for a friend. But back to the Lord of the Rings. Returns as Gandalf the Grey has a fondness for hobbits. Then it explains all hints we had for the name that he did not recognize because it is not his yet. More washed out. At least this is how I would do it. That's an interesting idea. But then he has to. Does then the stranger die, so to say, and then is sent back as Gandalf? Same actor, saves money, overkill. So yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting idea, but it sounds complicated in my opinion. Okay, interesting. I would still say Bale is. I had less problems with Bale and more problems with Redan in comparison. Well, it's kind of strange to talk about two topics that are completely unrelated. They can have even say it has some fundament in the lore. Maybe. I think that will I don't think that will be the case though. I think what will be Gandalf is the stranger as Gandalf. Dark Wizard is a blue wizard who lost his past basically. And facing the Dark Wizard and so on makes him basically Gandalf or whatever. Yeah, that is true. It's better than the Mithril story in Rings of Power. And then I think at one point with Snorri and Poppy and the Sturs, he will return to the west, and then they become the hobbits slowly, we know. Maybe they find the Shire or something, which would happen much later though, but I don't know. whatever the resolution of his identity, it cannot be worth the tedious build-up. Yeah, I would 100% agree on this. Whatever the payoff is, it was not worth it to keep his identity secret for so long. It makes so little sense. Especially this mystery box nonsense only works one time. You know, when you later will watch it or whatever, you know, oh, this Gandalf. And then it's just tedious to watch. So the writers are clearly focusing here on something that for too long, that has too little payoff for sure. I read someone's idea that Tom is telling the stranger to forsake Nori and go after the magic, but in reality he wants him to save Nori. And when he does, that is when the stranger finds his real fate. Yeah, that is exactly what's going on. How does somebody think that is the case? Like, it's so plain obvious that that's the case. We have to really go through this. Das geheime Feuer flüstert zu uns. I have to maybe put the subtitles to English. The secret fire whispers to us if we have ears to hear. So he clearly says, listen, Gandalf, the secret fire whispers to you. Listen to it, you idiot. And then Gandalf says something about and then Gandalf asks, how do I learn to master its power to fight back against the darkness? And then Tom says, dude, you're stupid. The secret fire doesn't need a master. It's God, basically. You can't master it, you idiot. But you can listen to it. And then he says later in the scene, blah, blah, blah. Try to find the quote. It's sometimes hard to find. He says something if you become a true servant of the secret fire, or if you truly serve the secret fire, something like that. Yeah. You will find your true stuff only. I found the quote, chat. We work with quotes here. Tom says to him, you will find your true stuff only when the vision of your heart is single to the service of the secret fire. So he says, dude, listen to the secret fire, you can't master it. And here he says, you have to put your heart is single to the service of the secret fire, to God basically, or an aspect of God. And the secret fire gives him this vision and says, Nori is in danger. Maybe you should look out for her. That's what the secret fire is saying. And Tom says, okay, he needs some stupid second path he could decide for. I have to choose something that not even the biggest idiot in the world would fail. So I give you, here's thousands of stupid trees with branches, or you could save your best friend. Decide, idiot. Like, are they kidding me? It's just one of the stupidest things I've ever heard in writing. What is more mind-boggling is that people still discuss that. No, he clearly wants him to forsake Nori. No! Why on earth? I don't understand shit. It's so sad sometimes. I gotta go, peeps. Yeah, thank you, Priscilla, for watching and sharing your theory here. Like I said, it's an interesting one because we have seen this in Lord of the Rings, and it would fit to the show because they constantly use stuff from Lord of the Rings. So you might be onto something, that they might kill the stranger and he comes back better or something. I don't know. But yeah, I'll see you later. And thank you for your support, of course. His identity was revealed at the end of the last season. Yeah, always follow your nose, right? Many fans just can't accept the reveal. I know a lot of people who hate if he would be Gandalf, and well, some people. So I can understand that, you know, hope dies last, but it dies. That's kind of the thing, I guess. I have given up hope long ago. I said, yeah, this guy's Gandalf. Nothing else would make sense. If this is not Gandalf, these are the writers are already bad of the show for whatever reason. Even though some of them must be actually very good writers. But as soon as they touch Rings of Power, they just forgot everything basic they learned in their life about writing a story. And then this here happens. Or maybe it's the showrunners who have too much influence on the writing room, and the poor writers are under the are ruled by these showrunners and just have to write stupid scripts all the time. I don't know what the truth is. Something like that must be the case. Either they have forgotten how writing a story works, the showrunners oppress them so hard that they can't really write good stories and force them to write bad stories because, I don't know, the showrunners are strange, or drugs and alcohol. They're the only logical explanations for this show, this show's writing. So they should have done that in season 1. Yes, they should have revealed his identity in season 1 enough that's clear to the viewer and that they can fully work with his character without, even, I don't know. He should also already be able to use his powers much better after such a long time. Because we're now 2 seasons in and he's still... Oh, I don't know who I am. I can talk now, but I can't use my powers. I still have to find my destiny and my staff and some stars. That's simply not interesting storytelling. It's nonsense. If this would just be a side plot that appears every 5 episodes, whatever, for a minute, it's just a running gag in the show or something. But this eats major time on the show, and you clearly see that the other plots need more time. Here the time is wasted completely. They can't use this character to its full extent because they have to consistently keep artificially this mystery box built up or construction in existence, so that the viewer think, oh, it could be a blue wizard or it could be Gandalf. Yeah, sure, but it's not interesting if he's a blue wizard. I, as a book reader, would say, yeah, that's cool that he's a blue wizard, but to be fair, most people don't know the blue wizard, so it is very strange. It's Gandalf's great granddad, Sandalf. That's I like that idea. How about they keeps it a secret for the entire show? Save a glimpse following the end credits. Yeah, that would be very smart. That would be good writing, I think. He dies, returns, yell, I am Gandalf, and they facepalm, kill him again, and then he returns again. Yeah, maybe. I mean, if he would be Sandalf, that would be actually funny. I am this lost cousin of Gandalf you have never heard about, Sandalf. I'm the Sand Elf. Yeah, I like that idea. It does seem weird, though, to send a whole archangel to Middle-earth only to save some girls who would never have been in danger if the Archangel hasn't been sent. It's very confusing. I mean, if the Archangel brings Nori in danger, then it's task of the Archangel or the Angel to protect Nori, you know? That's on him. He has to make up for his mistakes, so to say. You salvaged it, yeah. They should hire you in the writing room. Nori will bring the Sturs back to to the west of Middle-earth, and then they become the Hobbit tribe and then found the Shire at some point. Maybe not Nori, but the descendants of her. 100%. Because here in the desert, the Sturs don't belong to, they have to go. We need Gollum later, so the Sturs need to go to the Anduin. I think they won't find the Shire though, because that makes no sense at all, but you know, yeah, the Gandalf's entire mission of the show could be simply to help the hobbits to found the Shire, thus planting the seeds that will lead to victory at the end of Lord of the Rings. Yeah, for example. Or it doesn't have to be the Shire directly. You could just say, yeah, go to the Anduin or something. Something like that. Maybe the stranger is a Jedi Padawan who crash landed in a different universe. And it's all confused, maybe. I don't think so. I think he's Gandalf. Schnake tries to make sense in the Elden Ring lore of all of this. It won't work. So yeah, I don't like that. And this story plot, just nothing happens. It's so confusing why they decide to go this. I hope that they at least focused on one story plot this episode and push it a bit forward, so we have at least something interesting. But all we do is, and this goes on my nerves so much, because we had this, the whole season 1 was nothing but this. It was always, I don't know, characters do some stupid stuff, it has no consequences, and we're back to where we were at the beginning of the episode. Like, the plot never really pushed forward in any way. And that's a big problem, in my opinion. Also sowing the seeds of Saruman's downfall. I mean, that also might be part of it, but yeah. I'm not sure if my critique here is plausible anyway. Like, I try to be fair. I want to like the show, to be honest, or I try to at least be fair when I discuss it. But this show sometimes makes it very difficult to be fair, because I simply can't anymore. Like, I find it annoying when I have the feeling the show wastes actively my time. Yeah, they could have, for example, spent more time in Edegion. Or they focus on this plot line and just reveal who the stranger is and just make some progress so we have any clue and any urgency in this plot line that where you think, okay, now I'm interested, what might happen next? Here it's more like, oh, next episode, let me guess, the stranger will again be confused and doesn't know who he is, and we still think, oh, we don't know who he is, but he can't control his abilities, like in season 1. Cool. Like, his task is to find out who he is and control his abilities and become, I don't know, some force to reckon with. That's his task. Or to fail utterly. That's the other option. But either he starts now failing or he starts succeeding to some degree, because it really, in my opinion, gets annoying. Because they have nothing to tell in the storyline. Nothing happens. There's no development. It's just every time tiny steps, every time stagnation, and every time we see this plot line, especially in this episode, it was devastatingly annoying. I found it interesting that they introduced the Dark Wizard, but all he does is sitting all his day on his throne there in this room and is grumpy to his subordinates. That's basically it. That's also not that interesting. Saruman's story would be interesting. I mean, you could maybe make an argument it's not Gandalf, it's Saruman, because at least from Saruman we know he was in the East at some point. Maybe that's what they are playing at. But I feel like this guy is too clumsy for Saruman. And he's too good in a way for Saruman. Like, Saruman is a man of skill. Saruman, at least my perception of it, he's less wise than Gandalf. He has less humility, or whatever you call it, than Gandalf, and so on. He has less compassion for others, and so on. These are all details I tend to see in the stranger. Like, he's simply too nice for Saruman. Saruman, even when he's good, is kind of a grumpy dude. He's not grumpy enough for Saruman. And maybe a bit too clumsy, and Saruman, I think, would not be that clumsy. Radagast would maybe work. Oh, welcome to Nice. Nice to see you. He's manipulative, even when he's a good guy. Very controlling, whereas a stranger is pretty helpless. Yeah, he's the opposite of a Saruman. Like, if this turns out to be Saruman in the end, I would say, not in a million years, this guy is Saruman. I like this series also not bad. The stranger is an amalgamation of all 5 wizards. Amalgamation, I think it's pronounced. Amalgamation, whatever the word is. But I know what you mean. After his death, is reincarnated in 5 new shapes. That would be funny, actually. He is all wizards at once. It can always get worse. Yeah, maybe. If Gandalf forgot his own name when he was restored to Middle-earth after his fight with the Balrog, this Gandalf arrived by meteor, so give him some time to acclimate, I guess. It seems they get obsessed with the idea of showing different proto-hobbits and try to write a lot of story around that. Yeah, it really seems like that. Series probably ends where Lord of the Rings begins, at the War of the Rings, and Gandalf is not there, so Gandalf has to do something. So founding the Shire, good as any. The reason is why Gandalf maybe forgot his name was not because he's forgetful. He was in the timeless halls at Eru, I suppose. And there's simply no time. So he was there for ages. And then he returned. I was like, and he forgot, oh yeah, of course, Gandalf was when the people called me when I last was here ages ago. Even though it's just a second in the show, for Gandalf's perspective, it's an eternity has passed in the meantime from his perspective. That's at least my interpretation of this scene. It's not like, oh, I hit my head, I forgot who I am. It's more like, oh yeah, I haven't heard this name in an eternity. I still couldn't figure out things. We also had the question yesterday about the teleportation of the Ainur. And I said that it's only clear for the Valar, but I remembered the quote wrong. In the quote, Maiar and Valar are mentioned, so both could in theory teleport. I also stumbled upon, it's in Nature of Middle-earth, but this text was previously published also in Parma El Delamberon issue 17. And there I found an interesting detail I was not aware of until recently. I just said, oh yeah, there was also something like that evil spirits, for example, like Sauron or a Balrog, if they would be unclad, so without a physical form, they would have an unpleasant fragrance. So they stink. It's kind of funny, in my opinion. They could only hide the stench when they actually took a physical form. And they could make it appear, like Sauron could make his physical form then appear so fair that this was completely gone. That's an interesting idea of Tolkien. You can read this as said in the Parma El Delamberon issue 17. No, you can't read it because it's very tough to get. That's what Mirdania smells. Yeah, maybe. So they were chemical. I think it's not a chemical reaction, but it's more like, I don't know, a manifestation of the manifestation of evil stinks in Tolkien's world. The black goose smelled like delicious Caroline. Maybe. I just found this a very interesting detail. Sometimes I'm also surprised how much stuff Tolkien wrote about this metaphysical stuff in some notes. It's just sometimes mind-blowing. She smelled death when she saw Sauron when she had the ring on. That's actually an interesting point. But to be fair, like I said, Sauron would have like in the form of Anatar, he would hide this, be able to hide this completely. Like we discussed earlier, Celebrimbor should also be able to see the unseen as well, and see Anatar also in the unseen. So he needs to be able to hide his presence also in the unseen. There's even a description how people who could see the unseen perceived those Ainur, Maiar and Valar, like a radiant light, something like this. It was sometimes unpleasant to look at also because it was too bright, kind of thing. I remember reading something like that. So yeah, some very interesting text. And yeah, in case of Melkor, it was different though. There was also some light, but it was kind of shrouded in darkness, something like that. Of course, when he was unclad, that was when he was unclad. But of course, he usually took a physical form and so on. Many monsters in the novel are described as smelling horrible. The Watcher, the Fell Beast, Shelob. I'm not sure though if Gollum and Orc smell bad in general. Maybe. That's a good observation, actually. I'm not sure if they are familiar with these texts though, because they are very unusual texts that are not that. It's even difficult. Like the Vineyard Tengwar issues are easier to get. You can just order them, for example, at Amazon or something. But Parma El Delamberon is tough to get copies of. I don't have a physical copies of any of the Parma El Delamberon. I just organized some PDFs here for them. I think it's the case for most people simply because, yeah, I'm not even sure if you can get all physical issues of them these days. I think even that's not even possible. I like the illustration of the sea monster in the book at 1955. Yeah, that's true. Here it has no horn though, interesting, but it has tentacles for whatever reason. It's not a book, it's basically, I wouldn't call it a magazine, but some linguists, people got access to some Tolkien stuff, and it was often about language stuff. So about Quenya and the spell, the writing systems and so on. But there were also some dictionaries of Tolkien where he used the roots of words and so on, and had small descriptions for them and so on. So a lot of interesting stuff though. And they published this in, I think, 21 or something, 25 issues. I forgot the exact number. In the 70s, I think. Let me just see how many issues. 23 issues existed of this. It's a linguistic journal dedicated to the scholarly study of the invented languages of Tolkien. It was first published by the Mythopoetic Society, then by the Elvish Linguists Fellowship since issue 6. And it started in 1971. It's written like this. Parma El Delamberon. And I think the issue that is the most interesting for lore people is 17. Except you are into writing like Tengwar and the Elvish languages, then maybe the others might also interesting. In some of these, he has, for example, published the Lord's Prayer translated into Quenya and stuff like this. For example, I forgot this. Now we looked this up, right? I remember now in the stream. Where at the end, where the faithful were meeting in the show. This is actually Parma El Delamberon stuff now, thinking about this. They said not Nasir, but Nasir. Nasir means in Amen, basically, in Quenya. Yeah, much fun, Schnarke. Was satisfactory. The show to ruin them all. I'm not sure. I think the question is, will the show ruin something? Potentially not. I think the show, the problem is, the season 2 got at least better than season 1 so far, except for maybe the last episode. That's a classic season 1 episode, but and don't get me wrong, even season 1 had its moments and so on. I just hope that the last 2 episodes get better and that people are not, after the show ends, completely annoyed by it and by Lord of the Rings in general. I hope. I mean, there's too much content maybe right now regarding the show and Lord of the Rings stuff and so on, because currently there's a lot of focus on this, and then we content creators are kind of motivated. We watch the show anyway, so we might make content about it. I don't think it ruined the Tolkien for a new generation. I think that's an exaggeration in my opinion, because the books didn't change. If you want to get into Tolkien, either, I don't know, you have to watch high quality lore videos on YouTube, like Corey Olsen or something, and who really goes into a lot of detail. Though also sometimes Corey is also a bit strong on his interpretational side, in my opinion, but that's a different topic. The stuff is still there. There are more books than ever, illustrated by all kinds of people, beautiful illustrations in it. There are cheap books, there are expensive books, all-in-one books split up, 5,000. That it's easy to get. I think even if you don't have much money or so, I think even you can get a second-hand book easily for cheap. Like, there are a billion Tolkien books out there, so you can always read Tolkien. It's nothing there to ruin. And I think the same said people about the Peter Jackson adaptation. And in my opinion, Peter Jackson did not ruin Tolkien. This was wondering something. It did not ruin Tolkien as well. Like, in my case, for example, I started reading the books after the Peter Jackson films. You could say they are good, but back in the day, people also complained quite a bit about the Peter Jackson films. And to this day, people complain, especially in the hardcore Tolkien fandom, complain about the Peter Jackson films. You could maybe argue that Rings of Power is potentially worse than the Peter Jackson films, but there's it. Yeah, also good example. Did Bakshi ruin Tolkien with his goofy Balrog and Nazgul? No, he did not. It won't be the last adaptation, and I think why I also think it won't ruin it. Currently, Warner Brothers is also making films. Like, at the end of the year, we will get War of the Rohirrim. Then later, next year, or probably not next year, but I assume 2026 or something, in the upcoming years, there will also be Hunt for Gollum, and I think 2 more films after that by Warner Brothers. And Peter Jackson is involved again. So there will be more adaptations. It's not like if Rings of Power fails and they cancel the show, it's not like, oh, now we won't get any Tolkien for the next 500 years anymore. Sad. That's not the case, so I think there's not much to ruin here. And there might be some people who are not into Tolkien who might get interested and buy a book. And if that happens, awesome. I know that some people, I definitely know that, for example, I have some stories from the German Tolkien Society, for example, and they said, there are some people that are now active members of the Tolkien Society in Germany that came to Tolkien through the show. And then they started looking for more, found the community, and so on. That's awesome. Yeah, it might also be a reason they are committed to make a 5-season deal. The question is, what is more expensive? Canceling the deal and maybe paying some money to them, or producing the show completely? That's the question at the end. But I would also assume they make 5 seasons. They might kick out the showrunners if it doesn't work out at some point, I think. how sad it would be if someone made a show that is better than the books. I mean, it doesn't have to be better. It has to be nearly as good, would also be not bad. How many years must pass before the Lord of the Rings movies will be made? I think the magical number is 25 to 30 years. And we're reaching this very slowly. I think a generation it needs. I could imagine that is what they're also trying with the new films. The first film came out 2001, so 25 years later would 2026. 30 years later would 2031. So I think the 2030s, yeah, that's when we might see remakes of those. I would not be surprised, if even earlier. I think they try now with these 3 adaptations by Warner Brothers, currently trying that to maybe... Because let's think of Star Wars, for example. We never got a remake of Star Wars Episode 4, 5, and 6, the original Star Wars trilogy. What they did instead is make a sequel or prequels to that. In the case of Tolkien, it's a bit more complicated, though, to just make prequels or sequels. I think they try some sequels now, or something that's some spin-off films and so on, to keep this alive, because if you have these film classics, it's sometimes very, very tough to make a remake of those. Like, remaking the original trilogy would be really, really hard. So you do not make a remake, you make like a sequel trilogy, like they did with Star Wars, or prequel trilogy and so on. And I think they're testing the waters with these films, kind of, but at some point I imagine, because the material is popular, and I think it will become less interesting in the 2040s, because then it becomes public domain in theory. There's so much interest. I think the interest is, and this is something you have to consider, the reason why so much Tolkien is out there right now is because Amazon made this show. And people say, well, that's a topic people talk again about. It's a cool franchise that people kind of like. We want to do something with this IP, and we invest money into this from the business side, because making these adaptations always costs money. And also, they want to make money with this, don't get me wrong. This is not altruistic or something here. That's a product to be sold. But yeah, I don't mind it being an adaptation or a product that is sold, as long as it's good. Yeah, the show gets Tolkien on the agenda. Yeah, it puts it back to... Amazon put the Tolkien in front again, because before Rings of Power, there was not much before that, right? There was a long break when it comes to Tolkien stuff. We haven't seen anything. There wasn't much talk about Lord of the Rings, yeah, for sure. There was a video games, Shadow of Mordor, Shadow of War. That's when I noticed like a little bit, but it kind of, went silent after this quite a bit. I feel though that the Rings of Power show definitely, the first season kind of damaged it a little bit. I had the feeling. It felt like people were not as excited anymore. Especially this consistent battling with people. No, how can you? Tolkien is spinning in his grave and nonsense like that. Like the Tolkien estate got for a signature of their Tolkien what is it called? Tolkien estate. Sorry, my mistake. For their signature, they got paid $250 million. It's Yeah, that's an absurd amount of money for no work at all. Like the work was already done by their grandfather, just had to basically sign this. And they even get everything in the show, by the way, has to go through the hands of the Tolkien estate, and they have to say, yeah, it's okay. And they got paid for this. I think they got paid, yeah, whatever. We are busy swimming in our monies, in our swimming pools filled with money. It's funny, I think. And also Tolkien lost some of his rights here. Tolkien himself sold the film rights for money. He got compensated for it. Back in the day, the valuation of these rights was, I think, hardly underestimated by Tolkien. But he needed some cash in the 60s, so he sold it. And then this is how, what was it called? The company, it's now called Middle-earth Enterprises, which is now also bought by another company. The Saul Sands, I think. I'm not sure if I pronounced the name right. Sands? I'm not sure. The Saul Sands Company. He bought, I think. So Tolkien sold the film, stage, and merchandising rights for those work for The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings to United Artists in 1969. They in turn sold them to the Saul Sands Company in 1976. And that formed Tolkien Enterprises, which is now named Middle-earth Enterprises, in 1977. It's not clear how much money Tolkien got for this, so... I think not enough. That's for sure. Like his... Well, let me just see. Tolkien Enterprise, Middle-earth Enterprises was bought for how much money? I'm not sure if it's disclosed. Embracer bought Middle as, and I mean you have to maybe consider inflation. Okay, according to Variety, Embracer bought basically Middle-earth Enterprises for $395 million. And I would have assumed it's even more valuable than this. So it's a bit of cash. I think Tolkien sold his rights for less. If anyone gets a chance to see the Lord of the Rings musical, by the way, I would definitely recommend it. Awesome. I will just say again that for that money, I would have to work 14,000 years. Yes, that's 14th century. You mean 140 centuries. Yeah, Rings of Power did a lot for the dwarves for sure. The only interesting part in the show, yeah. The dwarves are the best. I really liked them as well, chat. Don't worry. Yeah, it's 14 millennia or 140 centuries. So yeah, I would say it's okay. It's an okayish compensation for it. I mean, they have to split the money a bit, and I don't know what they do. I don't care. I would be happy if I would have gotten a tenth of that money, to be honest. Actually, a hundredth of this money. Not even a tenth, a 100th of this money, I would be happy. It's absurd. I would have to work continuously from the last ice age to today. That might explain, interestingly, how Khazad-dûm became the Moria later. Though it's still this Moria thing is unfortunately one of the inconsistencies in Tolkien's book, in my opinion. Not my opinion, it simply is. Because on the gate we can read already Moria. It's written on the gate in Tengwar, on the doors of Durin, and it's somewhere in Lord of the Rings. It's said that the elves later called it Moria after its fall, basically, because it means black pit, and so on. Some say maybe they called it earlier black pit as like little insult, or to, what do you call it, necken, to tease or taunt the dwarves a little bit. And yeah, but I think it's an oversight by Tolkien. It's as simple as that. Did you ever convince yourself there wasn't a bug on Tom's head? I mean, you might be right. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure it is a little entity. I mean, you could be right. Oh, you can't see it. It could be the bend from it, yeah. I have to see this in motion, unfortunately, to really come to a satisfying conclusion here. It's a 25, what is it? 25 something. Yeah, you are right. I think you are right. It could be the bend. The movement makes a lot of sense. Yeah, you're right. It's not a bug. It's the head bend. It's a bend of the head. You're right. Well observed. It blows with the wind. Yeah, exactly. It seems to fit the wind, so it also looks like it. Now that you say it, at the beginning I thought it was like a fly or something, but you're right. Now that I've seen the scene emotion again, it definitely is a bug. It's a bend of the head. I just want to point out though, I think Tom Bombadil had a blue feather on his head. Look at this. That's 100% a blue feather, I think, Chad. I have a problem. I can't. That doesn't work. I don't have the option to delete headlights. Not headlights, what is it called? I would need to take this and reduce this in different ways, chat. And things become complicated as always. Let's try something, chat. It looks like it. Let me just save it, chat. I'm just busy in Photoshop right now. Can't do this in OBS, so I had to do it in Photoshop. I show you, I edited the image and also changed the color of the what do you call it? Weißabgleich in English, chat, again. White balance, yeah, that's the word. This is how the scene looks if you adjust the white balance a little bit. It's kind of funny if you compare this to the original scene, how different that is. You know what? I take the other screenshot. That's much smarter. Can turn this on and off easier than I can do it right now. Maybe a bit cool outside. Maybe hard to tell, to be honest. I think my white balance is also quite a bit off. It needs to be a bit it needs to be a bit more red, I think. Whatever, doesn't matter too much. It's also a lot of fun switching this back and forth now, to be honest. I don't know why I'm doing this, but it's a lot of fun. It's trippy, yeah, it is. Sorry for that. Just too much fun for a moment. Let me just zoom in the other scene here. But I would say the blue comes out a bit better when I do it like this, you know? You notice it's definitely blue. His eyes are also very blue. The blue here, you notice how blue the eyes here in the other scene are and in this scene? Here in the other, you definitely notice that something's wrong with the color. So there's a lot of color grading happening here for the scene to make it look like this. Very interesting. Yeah, and the long blue feather stuck in the bend. So that's pretty cool, Joe. Thank you for finding the quote for that. Now here we see like the headband, this thing they're moving. Very interesting. Thomas at the discotheque. It's the only UK bird I can think of that has blue feathers for its size, the magpie. Others smaller. But yeah, pretty cool. We found something which I found interesting as well. Sorry for a bit. I'm a bit tired. It's very strange. I can't explain this tiredness myself. Maybe it has to do with I streamed yesterday 9 hours or something and went to bed at 6 in the morning, but maybe, yeah, something like that. So my energy level is a bit low, I can tell you that. But yeah, Fro Sam stood as if enchanted. The wind puffed out. The leaves hung silently again on stiff branches. There was another burst of song, and then suddenly, hopping and dancing along the path, there appeared above the reeds an old battered hat with a tall crown and a long blue feather stuck in the band. So that's definitely what we see. It's pretty cool detail. Never noticed that. Ah, der Eichelherr, the nuthatch. Interesting. I have to admit, the looks of Tom Bombadil here are completely fine. He looks like Tom Bombadil. The problem is he's like a very over-the-top mystical figure, so it might clash with your own expectations, but I think they definitely try to portray Tom in a very decent way, in my opinion. Like as good as possible. Like, yeah, I don't know why people say they don't like it. I would also say Tom looks completely fine. Even the feather is there on his head and so on. So it's pretty cool. It's just very interesting to me how much color grading they did there. I'm not 100% sure. I mean, yeah, the sun, but usually the sun has to be in a very specific way to create this kind of color. I mean, it fits the desert, but I think it's a bit exaggerated. But I really like the color balance here they in the show of these scenes. There's something. Yeah, exactly. The sun is too high for the golden hour. Exactly. Maybe my Photoshop thing here is also a little bit too bright. A little bit too. It's sometimes very interesting what you can do with with a little bit of color balance. You can push it very far, and then it looks like they're on Venus. You can put it quite cool, and it looks like it's winter. And the truth is somewhere in between both of them. If Sauron, then a Thomas Lawrence reference would be cool. Therefore, I agree. It must be post-production color grading. Yeah, there's like a professional show like this always has color grading. Like there are people extra hired that do nothing else than this, and they're very good at what they're doing. Tom will exhibit some of his trademark silliness if, when he meets some hobbits, maybe. Still not sure if Jackson has so many. Yeah, I think Jackson also had a lot of little details in his stuff, but it's not like that the people who make the costumes, the backgrounds, like the set pieces, camera, and so on in this show here do not what they are doing. I think they're very talented people and do amazing jobs very often. I think the whole problem of the show is definitely the writing here. Peter Jackson had the better writers, that's for sure. But also the writers and Peter Jackson then delivered the Hobbit films, which were also, let's say, improvable. Yeah, even back in the day, color grading was a thing. Like in professional cinematography, that's simply a thing that happens, or in filmmaking. I would actually only give like 5 little notches above because then the sky is. I'm just sitting in Photoshop and trying to find the perfect, the perfect thing here. I guess normally it's the goal. Yeah, you don't think about color grading that much. Like in this show, often what they kind of do is they with changing colors and farb balance to make a day shot a night shot. There are some examples of this in the show, and sometimes it has simple production reasons. But if we go into season 2, for example, let me just see. I could currently try to find the shot that I'm talking about. In season 1 there were also some situations like this, so-called day to night stuff. I'm not sure if that's a good example though. Ah, here it is, chat. Wait a moment. Stuff could be lost. Now, this shot I'm not sure. It could be just a very bright moon when they shot this. It looks a bit day to night though. I can't really crank up the stuff as much as I would want. I don't get it out of the blue shapes. This could actually not be a day to night. Looks a bit like it. Sometimes you can kind of restructure it, but here there's not too much. There's not enough color information in the image to kind of justify it. Would be in this range here somewhere. Doesn't really work. We have to find a scene from season 1, but yeah, sometimes they do this. I forgot which episode it was, unfortunately. There was an episode where Arondir escapes, or where Theo gets shot in season 1 in the leg. I think I don't have a screenshot of that. It becomes very difficult to, work with this. No, that's not the shot I was looking for. No, I don't have a shot of that. Unfortunately. That's CGI. Could be a studio actually. No, I don't find anything right now. But whatever, doesn't matter too much. I think in season 2, it got better. Gandalf and Mars, yeah. What a trip. Let's hope in the summary. That's a good way. The vote made her weaker. No, I have no idea what's going on with the blindness. I could imagine, like, this show is too functional when it comes to their storytelling and so on. So usually if we see something, it has kind of a function to tell us something. For example, Arondir find the map or something like this here. Why do they show us a map? It has to have some function here that we have to learn about. Yeah, also, Joe, I was thinking the same. When Miriel came out of the water, that she maybe can see now again. It's a bad drawing. I mean, it's drawn by orcs. How skilled orcs are in the means of art is hard to tell. But this is clearly a map. There's some trees. There's a river on it. There's some info. You can't read the second letter though. This here. This is easier to read. Yeah, I think that's Eregion behind the river, something like that. I think that's a mountain on top there. That might be the place where they attack. And there are two things. There's an X marks the spot thing and some forest or so. It's really hard to read this. Maybe it's a battle plan, yeah. Maybe Damrod comes from here and the other fours come from here. I don't know exactly. Why did the orc have the map? Because every orc gets a map to know where he has to go. I don't know. Like I said, the show is functional. Arondir kills Orc. Orc has map of things. He learns something from it. And then this explains us something. I mean, I also like maps. I mean, I don't need to extinguish Eregion or anything. They cut. The next cut is not a hard cut. It's a fade to Eregion. So he looks at the map, and the map gets more and more transparent, and behind it we see Eregion. They could make a hard cut if they want to separate this, but you'd use a fade like this to imply that what you see in this scene has to do with the next scene. That maybe this location is this location we later see. That's why I use this from an editing perspective. Also, he walks to Eregion to fight the orcs, and the orcs were walking away because they were deserting, so of course it has to be related to Eregion. But there's a river and a position to the river. Maybe there's some forest parts that they can identify. Hard to tell. There's some descriptions on the map. There's red on it. That was my conclusion after thinking on it. It also was used as a point to fade to the next scene because cinema is more important than adequately storytelling. I mean, it's just a very classic thing to use to fade from this scene to another to say what we see here is now the next scene we see when it fades. I'm not sure if I made a screenshot of this. This is how it, yeah, I made a screenshot. This is how it fades to Eregion. So this thing wants to tell us, yeah, that's Eregion. We're talking about this particular place here. That's the context of this map. You guys think this season will end by Sauron leaving to Mordor or being captured to Numenor or something else? I think that this scene here with Pharazôn, where he sees a Halbrand in this vision, he knows that he has to find Halbrand, and that is how Halbrand will get back to Numenor. I think that's what they're going for. I'm not sure if this happens this season or later in season 3, but at some point it will happen. The problem is, how much time do they need for the Eregion plot here in the next 2 episodes? Very curious about that. He might come to the help of Eregion by accident, basically, because he wants to find Halbrand and he just brings an army along or something, and that is how these plot lines here get connected, something like that. Map doesn't have to be realistic, it just has to show you points in relation to your position, and you have to identify the position, and nothing to do with being realistic. A map is an abstraction of the world that helps you orient or find an orientation. Especially without satellite images and, I don't know, modern measurements and a lot of effort, maps are very imprecise if you just have to draw them. I'm not sure what the problem there is with the stupid map. All the map needs to say you have to stand south, left or right of the river, left of the river, close to that forest area there, and that's all you need to know. They don't need to stand with I don't know, with I don't know, high precision instruments at a specific point on Earth at a given moment. Yeah, because these are orcs. They don't have means of, I don't know, this must be a makeshift map that somebody drew 5,000 times and gave out to people or something, or to important orc people that are orc leaders or whatever. That's all this map needs to do. It is a function, it's potentially, I'm not sure, because I don't know what this map is for exactly, but if I know the context, the map could be useful. Like, this map just focuses on, like, I don't want to discuss this map for 5 hours. Like, it makes no freaking sense. Like, it's a stupid orc map that is not there. Dude, do I have now to literally explain you how a map works or something? It's just a makeshift map that is just there to, I don't know, explain stuff. The problem is I'm not there, so I don't have the context of this area. I don't fully understand what the problem is with this map. Like, if I would be there and I know here's the river, and the river bends at this particular place. I know here's the mountain, maybe the Eregion or whatever, that's where we go. And I know on the other side there's a forest, and I know on this side is a forest, and then here, thins it out a bit, then there's another forest. So then the commander-in-chief says, be in forest A. I know I have to be here. And then, when the sun rises, go to forest B, here. So I know what I have to do. And then he says, when the sun goes down, cross the river and go here. Then I also know what to do. Like, what is the problem? It's the map. It's not very precise. As long as the commander doesn't need to stand at a specific tree in the forest, then this map is potentially fine. All we need to know is forest A, forest B, forest C. I don't know, mountain with Eregion. It's really hard to see on the map, to be honest, but I guess in the context of the orcs, there's also even some name here written. Maybe this is the name of the river. So we know which river it is. And here's also a little note. Maybe this means Damrod Camp or whatever. And here's an X. So it's between these two forests, closer to that forest, there's somewhere, I don't know, south of it, there is a camp or whatever. That's the information this map needs to transport. Like, it depends on. I can't imagine using this map as well because I'm not locally there. I'm not at the place. I have no idea. Was there a briefing? Like, just imagine there's like your orc commander says to you, yeah, there's three forests and a river in between, and there's a city beyond it, and that's where we go. Okay, done. Like, it just orients at potential points of interest that are easy to recognize. I agree with you that this map is very useless if you don't know the area and if you're not locally there and if you have no context for what is going on. But these orcs have given context and this map, and then it most likely will work well enough. It could be Dale and Erebor in the back. That is true. Like I said, this map is useless without context, but it is reasonable to assume that the orcs have the needed context to understand this map. I'm very curious why he needs to find this map, though. There must be some information. This X marks the spot. Maybe that's the camp of Adar or something. And then he knows, there's the camp. Like, could imagine, like, if you look closely here, it's a bit tough to see. Thank you, Mr. Thing here. Here down in the thing. So he knows east of this forest here or whatever, there is a camp of Adar or something, and maybe that's where you want to show. I'm not sure why you would even go there, to be honest, but yeah, we will see in the next couple of episodes what this means, but that's wrong. Properties, filters. Too bright. And yeah, there's simply there's an X marks the spot thing. I mean, if this is a Kiers for R, it could be really. Is this an A? Doesn't look like it, to be honest. No, the K, this K letter is an R sound. Like in right. Or, I don't know. Red. This letter here, I don't know. Usually would expect a vowel. Doesn't look like an A, to be honest. Yeah, they underlined it for some reason. I don't get it. It's strange. But I think we will learn it next episode anyway. So it's potentially not worth spending too much time with this. Because it's too hard to read, I think. Yeah, it looks like Tuk, I agree. But usually the letters in this show are not Latin alphabet letters. I got distracted. Are you reading the bottom of the word? Red, yeah, I tried, but I can only see an R at the end and so on. It's very hard to read. I thought maybe it means Camp of Adar or something like this. Would be funny. But whatever, chat. How long are we streaming, chat? 3 hours. It's quite long for a 1 hour episode. I don't have much to say, unfortunately, anymore. The questions. I think Arondir will not save Galadriel, though, because from the trailers we know that she's still in the cage when Elrond arrives. So maybe later on or whatever. Yeah, don't worry, Rosemary. If you want, I can post on Discord. I can post the 4K screenshot if that helps. Guards of Eregion, what do your elf eyes see? Nothing until the writer says so. Yeah, unfortunately, that's a bit too true. I posted in the spoiler channel. So, chat. I mean, I'm not sure. Do you need this to be zoomed in further? Okay, all good. So, yeah, is there anything else, chat, we can say? So I'm a bit distracted here, and a bit also tired, falling asleep here. That's why the stream is a bit low energy. I'm sorry for that. It was better yesterday, but yesterday was pretty demanding, I would say. But I don't know. Marathon yesterday was really a marathon for sure. Currently wondering what's written on Belzegar's book. Question is there a better shot of the book? How would you rate the new episode? Not so great. Like I said, it had its moments, and this kind of maybe saves the episode a bit. And now that I analyzed it, maybe I like it a bit more actually, which is interesting. But maybe 2 out of 5 or something like that. I felt like in context of the show, this was a below average episode. Especially in the season, like episode 1 and 2, I liked quite a bit more. Episode 5, I in context of the show, so I would give maybe 4 out of 5, considering that I need to, for the really good episodes, I need to leave some space. In context of episodes in general, well, it would be a bit lower than that, I think. It comes through. Thank you. Much appreciated, Emil. My guess is the X marks where Ada's setting up and building the siege weapons. Yeah, maybe something like that. Like I said, maybe his camp that we have seen where he blew the horn or something. You're blown away. No, not by this episode. It's very tough. What was a rating, like last episode on the, like we do always a rating thing on the German Tolkien Society stream, which will be Sunday. It's in German though. Obviously. Let me just check. How did I rate episode how did I rate episode 4? I gave episode 4 2.5 stars, so this is 2 stars then. This is below episode 4. Like, we are very critical here, to be fair, but yeah. Episode 4 was also an okayish one. Kind of in the middle. Just notice we're just far too critical sometimes, I think, but whatever. Episode 3 I gave 3 stars. So 3 out of 5. It's kind of strange to go out of 5 when you have these steps in between. I guess you could also go out of 10, but still feels a bit different. Whatever. I think episode 2 might have been the episode I rated the highest so far. Or maybe not. Maybe it's episode 5 that I rated highest. Yeah, episode 2 I also gave 4 stars. So, yeah, that's kind of on the level of that. Chris, you're brutal yet graceful. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just maybe too critical when it comes to the show and stuff. I felt like this episode was really weird. Not gonna lie. Far too busy, too little stuff happened, was very noticeable, some really bad writing decisions as well. Episode 5 felt much better. That was a pretty decent one. It felt far more focused, a lot of things have happened and so on. And the show suddenly works a lot better, I would say. I also gave one 3.5 stars, so yeah. Kind of fits. 3.5 stars, 4 stars. What did I say? It was episode 3? Maybe 3 or whatever. I forgot again. How can I forget the number so fast? I haven't checked yet. Okay, episode 3 was also 3 stars. Episode 4 I said 2.5, I think. Episode 5 was 4 stars again out of 5, and episode 6 will be then 2 stars, maybe 2.5. I'm not sure. How would you rate the episodes, chat? Very interesting to see, chat. Well, the last episode. I could imagine that the last episode, though, might be able to catch up a little bit. We need a poll. The problem is I can't put 5 options in a poll, so I don't have only 4 at most. So I can't really do a great poll. You know what I mean? Like, we did already a poll yesterday in the analysis stream, and it was like, surprisingly, I think 38% said liked the episode, and 34 or something like that. I forgot the exact number, but it was very close. Was said okay, and the rest, 20-something, said basically the episode was, they didn't like the episode. So it felt very divisive when it comes to the quality. I expected that more people would dislike the episode, but also heard, especially from people who are not that deep into the lore and so on, that they liked the episode. I rated trash, but that trash, it doesn't stick yet. Legion, Khazad-dûm. And Numenor 4 stars, Rune 1 star. Yeah, maybe. 4 out of 4. Just trying to, what's then the average? Would be 12, 13. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 points. So that would be 3.25 stars for Rosemary for this episode. Glenduin. Can look, I mean, I hope I have a map where the river names are on. Glenduin. Okay, it is also on the second age map. Long stream merch, please. I would wear a hoodie with your long stream definition on it. The problem it's too long, unfortunately, to fit on a hoodie, I think, to be really cool. You were behind. Well, there was not much happening anyway here at the end. I'm a bit sorry for this very unenthusiastic stream experience here at the end. But yeah, I would also assume, because this river bends a bit, that, and they come from the south, that that's the region they are talking about. Yeah, but this is a very modern, precise map. It's not like a makeshift map. It's kind of a map that we usually treat as this is how Middle Earth actually looks. Though it might also be unreliable in some parts. I use the silk screen. You just do TPG long streams. And then some definition written out, like this on the hoodie, and maybe add a pronunciation guide. All on plate, put it on the back of a black or dark blue hoodie in white ink. Welcome back, Priscilla. The problem is I think I'm a bit too small to really go into the merge direction. Question is this really worth it? Are people interested in this? Who knows? That's a good idea. We should keep in mind. Did you suggest this in some streams before as well? I'm also a terrible businessman. That also comes on top of that. But it could be recognized if you had the context of it. If you don't know the context of this map here, you also could not use it because you would not find it in our world. As a result, it's also completely useless in this regard. So you need to know the context of the map as well. If you find this map in a forest, let's say, I don't know, in the Schwarzwald, you couldn't use this map either. Yeah, and that is what I mean with context of a map. Like, you need to know the context, otherwise maps are often very useless. You need to know where is this exactly? Which location is this? And so on. Like you need to know where you are on the map to get a conclusion out of it. And then when you know where you are on the map and the positioning of the other objects on the maps are kind of correct, then every map works. If it looks beautiful like this map or like a makeshift map from the orc, it makes no difference. Like if I know I'm here, I know that there's this place and this elven settlement south, so I have to go south across the river. If it's precise like this or just a stupid line and some trees here, as long as I know I'm here on the map, I know the context, things can work out. I mean, also knowing the So, is there anything else, chat? Because I'm just rambling here. I'm just too tired to do anything here right now, chat. I'm a bit sorry, but yeah, I also did not plan to stream that long today, simply because we just watched the episode. It's just less than an hour long. We had some introduction talk. We talked a bit about the episode. I liked it, and so on. The Teesprings is coupled with YouTube and will work with small channels. The hoodies will probably be $45 each or something. They do it for channels much smaller. I guess before we do something like this, I feel like that some effort goes usually into this stuff. So I feel like you would need to, there need to be a certain amount of people where I feel like, okay, there's enough interest in a product like this. I want Elendil to be happy. Is that asking too much? No, that's definitely not asking too much. But yeah, currently Elendil had some tough times, but all the plays that happened definitely helped him and Miriel, I think. Because now he's deemed innocent. Miriel has a stronger position now. People chant, Miriel, Miriel. It's very easy that people chant your name in Numenor, it seems. Yeah, we could do a poll on the YouTube channel for this. But currently I just want to finish the coverage of this show. And then, I don't know, do some lore stuff and so on. Take a few days off. That would definitely help. I want Elendil to be taller so he can be called Elendil the Tall. Yeah, that would be nice. I guess he's already quite tall though. The worm didn't eat you, you're the true queen, yes. Currently TPG just wants to survive the series, yes, that's my biggest concern, I think. Getting out of all of this madness alive. That for sure is a thing. Just send him to the Sousa. Everyone will call him tall. Yeah, that's actually true. Strange way to select the head of a state, yeah. We're still a bit away though from becoming one. Sousa is the name. Sousa means Shire. Susat means the Shire. The T seems to be the article of it, which is here like an affix, I think you call it. Don't take life too seriously. None of us getting out of it alive. That's true. Unfortunate, that is true. In the language, it's basically the internal in-world language, like the Hobbit language, so to say. Actually in Westron. So people, the common speech in this world is Westron. That's what people talk to communicate, and it is represented by English. But in the world, it is not English. So when we read in the book The Shire, in the world it would be Suzat. Because Tolkien wrote the book from the perspective that he found the original book and translated it into English. In Tolkien, of course, this is a fictional communication situation, so to call. But Tolkien even made the effort to come up with some in-world names. So that's also Meriadoc is, for example, called Kalimag. And Mary would be Kali. Yeah, the idea is Tolkien found Bilbo's Red Book of Westmarch, for example, or the Silmarillion, and then translated it into modern English. This is the perspective of Lord of the Rings, of the communication situation, like how the writer communicates the story to the reader. But it's a fictional idea, of course, because the West Book does not exist in the real world. But Tolkien at least put in an explanation for certain elements here, and especially how the languages work. Of course, Tolkien did not want to make up 20 languages for his world. That's too much effort. So he just made up some words and said, yeah, I just translated into English from this perspective. It's a cool trick, in my opinion. Of course, Tolkien would never make translation errors. I'm not sure if there's translation errors here and there. Tolkien added something like this. Hard to tell. Well, there's actually he used the Hobbit book, like the original Hobbit book from 1937, tells the story of Gollum and Bilbo in this cave in the chapter Riddles of the Dark differently. And Tolkien later changed this when he wrote Lord of the Rings. He had to change this chapter a bit because in the other chapter it would be very strange how it played out for it to be the One Ring then. And Tolkien said the old version is how Bilbo tells the story in the Shire, and the new version, the edited version, is how the story actually happened. So stuff like this he referenced as like a little error or something like that. So he plays a bit with the unreliable narrator here and there. But whatever, chat. I'm getting too tired. As a result, because of I'm getting too tired and we're not talking coherent sentences anymore, and always make after every sentence like a 3-minute long break, it feels. I think it's a good point to maybe slowly end the stream. It's sleepy time. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed the stream. It was maybe a bit low energy. I'm a bit sorry for that, but I definitely need a day to rest or so. And yeah, shoutouts, of course, to all the artists, and which, though we didn't use any artworks today, unfortunately. Also, special thanks, of course, to the supporters. As always, some are missing in the list because I haven't updated the stuff yet, as always. We can give some manual shoutouts here while the stuff runs through. Not sure if we shouted out straight out of the Shire. If he's in the list, he should be. And then we have, of course, some people who are not in the list for reasons. That would be Paul Freeborn, of course. Shoutouts to him. Aris Aurelian might not be in the list. Shoutouts to you as well. Matt Coles, Priscilla TV, the Bionicle fan. And maybe I forgot somebody, but these are all that I think could be potentially missing in the list that you just saw. And yeah, to all the others, also huge shoutouts and thank you for your support. Much, much appreciated. Have a fantastic rest of the day or a good night and sleep well. And then there might be a video or something on this channel or on another channel. Like I said, German Tolkien Society recap and analysis of this episode will be on Sunday, 19 o'clock German time. And yeah, there I will most likely be there as well. The problem is currently a lot of people said they want to discuss the episode, and we only have like 6 slots because then it's too much in the episode. So maybe somebody takes a break. Maybe I get kicked out. Who knows? So maybe I'm not there, but there will still be a discussion. There will be an episode on Sunday, and so on and so forth. Oh, what's up? Nice to see you as well. No, it could happen. I don't know exactly if it will happen, how it will happen, who will be there, who not. But suddenly we were 6 people. That's unfortunate. Boy, we will see. And then, yeah, I don't know. I definitely think about making a channel a video also for my German lore channel, discussing this weird show. Maybe that is also a thing. So yeah, if you're interested in that as well, maybe check that. There might be some gaming content. I might try to find time to stream Elden Ring, because otherwise my Bale practice, I lose the progress on this boss that we're currently fighting on a rune level 1 character. It's tough as nails. And yeah, so there will be content. Look out for it. There are tons of channels by now, which I guess is confusing as hell. No, there is... I'm not even sure if the bot works here. It should be, but... Let me see if some bot is still awake. Maybe not. No, I have several YouTube channels. You find them all here in this list. So, for example, the German Tolkien channel is called TPH Law. The games channel is called TPH Games. Then I have a Twitch channel, The Philosopher's Games, and the German Twitch channel, which is TPH_games. So very confusing. There's always a problem. Your D&D game is cancelled, so it can be there. Okay. I mean, that's not great that your D&D game is cancelled, to be honest. Always felt like a deep pain in my heart when my tabletop RPG round got cancelled. I felt, oh no, I was looking forward to it. What am I supposed to do all day? I haven't played pen and papers or tabletop RPGs in a long time. But whatever. It is a different topic. I wish you, like I said, much fun there. There will be stuff, and yeah, thank you again for watching, and see you people next time. Goodbye.